Not to be that guy, but Star Wars fans absolutely suck. Ugh. Alright, look. I am a Star Wars fan. I've watched them all. More times than I can count. I've watched some more than others. Like, I've watched some of the movies more than others. But I have been in the Star Wars community for about, 20 years now. I mean, I wasn't alive in the 70s and 80s. Well, early 80s when it came out. But I feel like I've made up for lost time, and I consider myself to be a part of the Star Wars community, and I feel like I've seen enough, and I've been faithful enough to be able to call myself a Star Wars fan. Okay? But Star Wars has a trash and toxic community. It's like worse than Call of Duty. It's like worse than League of Legends. It's terrible. Star Wars fans are the most pretentious and arrogant snowflakes I've ever seen. Actors, new, the people just trying to come into the business, or veterans, they don't even want to entertain the thought of doing a Star Wars movie. And Star Wars fans, they can't fathom the fact that it's not the movies. It's not the movies that turn actors away from doing them. Well, it's the money that, I don't want to act like Star Wars isn't throwing them a lot of money. But beyond that, it's not the movies. It's them. It's the fans. Star Wars fans, they've become so toxic that I'm almost embarrassed to consider myself to be one of them. It's like I say, yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm not one of those Star Wars fans. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's just look at the collateral damage from Star Wars fans. I guess I'll start off with, Daisy Ridley. This was her first big break. I mean, I'll pull it up now. I'll pull up her IMDb now, okay? This was her first big break. So I'm looking at her IMDb. Before she was in Star Wars, she did a lot of short films. There's this one TV show that she had where she was on for 2 episodes. But none of these shows are things that I've ever heard of. They're probably all British shows. But then she did Star Wars. And, ever since then, it's been all about Star Wars. Now, she did have a role in, what was that movie called? Murder, on Orient Express. Murder on Orient Express, where she played Miss Mary Mac something. But I liked her in that. But besides that, this was her movie. This was her big break. You know what I'm saying? And I personally think that she's a great actress. You know what I'm saying? She made what was a generic and cliche and lame character like Rey, and she made Rey's character believable. I mean, Rey wasn't my favorite character in the movies, but that had nothing to do with Daisy. That had to do with, well, I'll get to what that had to do with later, but that had nothing to do with Daisy. I think she's an incredible actress. Now, the whole thing about Daisy Ridley, like I said, this is her big break. She was young when the movie came out. She was in her early 20s when it came out. So she wants to, talk to her fans and interact with her fans. So she makes an Instagram account. And when she makes an Instagram account, she is instantly bullied. Instantly bullied, saying how much she sucks, how she ruined Star Wars, how I hate her character, all of this stuff. And she left Instagram and hasn't been back since. The fans were coming at her for the role that she played. Let's look at more collateral damage. Let's look at John Boyega. Now, I love John Boyega. Okay? I love John Boyega. But just like Daisy Ridley, this was his big break. I'm going to pull up his IMDb now, too. Let's let it load up a little bit. I'm going to pull up his IMDb, too. Yeah, so looking at his IMDb, there was a show that he was on called Becoming Human, where he played a character called Danny Curtis. He was on for 4 episodes. He actually played Moses in a movie called Attack the Block. Sounds like a parody. I might have to check that out. But all of these other movies, he's been in movies I've never heard of before. Like, you know, he did a lot of TV shows, but then he did Star Wars. This was his big break, you know? And then after Star Wars, you haven't seen John Boyega in anything. I mean, he was in, you know, Pacific Rim Uprising, but, I mean, that movie wasn't very good. And I'm looking at his IMDb, he does seem to be in production, in pre-production, and in current production for a lot of different things coming out. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. You know, with COVID right now, a lot of these movies are going to be pushed back to years. So, I mean, we'll say, like, he's in a movie called Borderland. I don't know if that's going to be, you know, a reference to the game or about the game. He's in this other movie coming up called Rebel Ridge. So, I mean, he has some stuff lined up, but still, the point of this is that this was John Boyega's big break. You know what I'm saying? And I love John Boyega. Now, I have an issue, and this is going to be another topic I'm going to talk about. I have an issue with how infatuated us Americans, how infatuated we are with British. The fact that we keep bringing all these British actors and actresses to act in our movies, but you don't see other countries like Britain and Germany or India or China or anywhere. You don't see them coming to American actors and asking us to be in their films unless we're playing the role of Americans. So why is it that we are asking all of these British actors and all these British actresses to come and play our role? That's a story for another time. But anyway, I love John Boyega. He made his character of Finn, or FN2187, his character was even worsely written than Rey's, and he was able to make the Finn character even a little bit believable. Now, I hate the fact that all black characters in big budget movies, they either have to be like a wise ass or they have to be comic relief. But John Boyega, even right now, he became and is one of my favorite actors. Like, anything John Boyega's in coming in the future, I'm going to support it. I like him a lot. And even now, you know, he's been speaking out against, you know, racial injustice, you know, and he's been doing protests, and, you know, he's been getting backlash, and he's been getting criticized from the fans, Star Wars fans. He's been getting criticized for the fans because he's talking about injustice, you know what I'm saying? And my thing is, like, y'all didn't like him anyway. Like, y'all didn't like him anyway. So why are y'all acting like you're disappointed? And yeah, I heard this thing saying, oh, you know, like, you play in Star Wars, you know, you should be a better example for the kids. What? Standing up for what is right is a bad example for the kids. But even beyond that, y'all didn't like him anyway. So like, make up your mind. So first we have Daisy Ridley, who said that she's never going to do another Star Wars movie. We had John Boyega, who said he's never going to do another Star Wars movie. Let's look at more collateral damage. Because there's more. Let's look at Oscar Isaac, who played the role of Poe Dameron, right? Poe Dameron. Oscar Isaac has said, when he was asked about coming back and doing more Star Wars, because I did believe that they were going to do like a solo standalone movie about Poe Dameron, like they did with Han Solo. I did hear that would be in the works, and you know what, that would be interesting. You know, to see a solo movie about Poe Dameron, you know, how he got into the Resistance. I think that would be cool. But he had said, and these are his words, not mine. He has said, the only way I'm coming back to do a Star Wars movie is if I needed to buy another house. That's what he said. Now, was that tone deaf? Absolutely. Do I like the way that he said that? Absolutely not. But I get it. But the double standard is crazy, though. Like the double standard is crazy. Like, Harrison Ford, the whole time, every Star Wars movie he's been in, he's only done it for the money. Harrison has been doing it for the money the whole time, but people don't come at him. Y'all know when Harrison Ford did The Force Awakens, he told them, he said, yo, fam, I'll come back and do this role if you do two things for me. First of all, you got to give me a blank check. Second off, you got to kill my character. That's what he said. That's what he said. He actually hasn't liked Star Wars since he did it. He's been doing it for the money the whole time. He wanted to be killed after A New Hope. He thought that was going to be his one and only movie. But people don't come for him. Now we're going to talk about more. We're still doing collateral damage, right? We're going to talk about Kelly Tran. She probably had the worst of it all. Like Daisy, you know, Daisy Ridley, she was bullied off of social media. But with her, it was worse, man. With Kelly Tran, people were actually threatening her, like physically threatening her, saying racist comments to her, allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly, because I'm not in the know of anything, but allegedly fans hated her so much that J.J. Abrams barely had her in Rise of Skywalker. She had 1 minute and 16 seconds of screen time, to be exact. I mean, like, wasn't she a war hero in The Last Jedi? Like, wasn't she like a big part of saving Finn and leading that? Well, I guess if you look at the context of The Last Jedi, that whole mission and this is the reason why I hate The Last Jedi, but that whole mission that they went on turned out to be completely useless. But anyway, isn't she a war hero? Isn't she like one of the last surviving Resistance members, and she gets 1 minute and 16 seconds of screen time? And like I said, allegedly that had to be because the fans hated her so much that J.J. Abrams barely had her in the movie. Now, like Rey, was Rose my favorite character in the movie? No, I actually wanted Rey and Finn to fall in love. I think that would have been great to see the black man and the white woman. Oh my god, Star Wars fans' heads would have exploded if they saw them kiss. But once again, just like Daisy, my dislike of Rose the character, I won't say dislike, the reason why I don't love her, it had nothing to do with Kelly. And that's all the collateral damage from the sequel movies. Like, are you hearing what Star Wars fans have done to these people? But it doesn't end there. There is more collateral damage. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's go to the prequels. Jake Lloyd. You remember Jake Lloyd? You know, he played a young Anakin Skywalker, boy Anakin Skywalker. After the movie, after Phantom Menace, Jake Lloyd said that he was bullied at school, not only by students, but he was getting bullied by the parents. He was getting bullied by the parents because they disliked the movie. And after that, he was bullied so much by grown adults that he was forced to be homeschooled, and he quit acting. He never acted again. The Phantom Menace was his first and only, not only movie, his first and only thing that he ever did behind the camera was Phantom Menace. That is sick. When you think about it, that is sick. The boy was 10 years old. Had grown adults coming at him because they didn't like the movie. Let's stay in the prequels. Let's stay in the prequels. Let's stay in the prequels for more collateral damage. Hayden Christensen, to me, is the most misunderstood of them all. Hayden Christensen is not a bad actor. You need to check out some of his other stuff. He's not a bad actor. But the way Anakin Skywalker, the way he was written, nobody could have made that work. Nobody. Not even... Who's somebody popular? Not even Keanu Reeves could have made that work. Well, maybe he could have. But Hayden Christensen, he had a little bit of a career. He was in the movie Takers. I actually really liked him in Takers. He was in the movie Jumper. He was in American Heist. So if you want to see Hayden Christensen act, I would go check out those movies. But Hayden Christensen is not a bad actor. But he never took off. His career never took off because of Star Wars fans. Hayden Christensen actually had said, I'm not sure if he said it in multiple interviews, but I know he said it in at least one. Hayden Christensen said that He feels that accepting that role of Anakin Skywalker is one of the biggest regrets he had in life, and was his biggest professional regret, was accepting the role of Anakin Skywalker. He regrets it. One of the worst professional decisions he ever made in his life. Are you seeing all this collateral damage? Are you seeing the toxicity of Star Wars fans? Now, there's one person who I missed. And I wanted to purposely save him for last, okay? Adam Driver. And I wanted to save him for last for a reason. You know, the sequels, they were okay. It was balanced. I think that The Force Awakens was great. I think The Force Awakens was really, really, really good. I think The Last Jedi was terrible. And I think The Rise of Skywalker was okay. So when you balance that out, you had a great, you had a terrible, you had a okay. So that balances out to the sequels were okay. Okay? But to me, Adam Driver by far was the best actor in the trilogy. And hot take. Listen to this hot take. I think Adam Driver might be the best actor in all of Star Wars. Woo! Oh man. Let me I'm gonna let y'all calm down for a little bit. While I explain why. Every single time his character was on the screen, I could not take my eyes away. Now, the only character who had an effect like that was probably Darth Vader, but Darth Vader, the voice of Darth Vader and the actor of Darth Vader aren't even the same people. So the acting of Darth Vader wasn't good because he really wasn't doing much, and the voice acting was great, but you can't compare that. You can't compare acting and voice acting. You can't compare it. Every time Kylo Ren, every time he was on the screen, I could not take my eyes away. He portrayed that character perfectly. And that is what an actor does. They take the character, they become the character. If you do not like a character, that has nothing to do with the actor. And he was supposed to be a villain. So the fact that you hated his character, doesn't that show that he portrayed that villain pretty well? Adam Driver's acting ability was the only thing that made The Last Jedi barely watchable. And I invite you all to go rewatch that scene with at the very end between Kylo and Luke. Every time I watch that scene, like I said, as somebody who is an aspiring filmmaker, actor, all of that, every time I watch that scene, I like I get chills. My hair stands up. Adam Driver was incredible in that scene. Completely overtook Mark Hamill in that scene when it comes down to the acting. But even Adam Driver said that he regrets doing Star Wars. He said that if he could go back in time where he accepted that role, he would decline the role. And his main thing was, ding, 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 his main thing was the fans. Now, I guess Adam Driver has a little bit of thicker skin than the rest. But he was getting, I don't know if he was getting threats, but he was getting chastised and criticized and ostracized and baptized. Sorry, he didn't get baptized. I just wanted that to rhyme. But, you know, he said that the fans made him regret doing Star Wars. And he's an incredible actor, man. Incredible. Every time he was on the screen, I couldn't take my eyes off. Now, the only actors whose careers were not completely torpedoed by Star Wars were the original trilogy cast, you know, your Mark Hamills, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, Billy D. Williams, you know, them. Or actors who were already stars before they did Star Wars. The prequels had amazing actors and actresses. Liam Neeson, Natalie Portman, Keira Knightley, Ewan McGregor, Christopher Lee. Oh, and wait, not to mention Samuel Jackson. The prequels had amazing actors and actresses, but people still hate the prequels. So doesn't that prove to you that it wasn't the actors? If the sequels had great actors and the prequels had great actors and people hate the sequels and people hate the prequels, what does that mean? What is your problem? Now we're going to get to what the actual issue was. When I said that my issue with Rey and my issue with Finn and my issue with Rose had nothing to do with them, had nothing to do with the actors, it had to do with this. Woo! The immortal George Lucas, he is not a good writer. As someone, as I said, who is aspiring to be a filmmaker, who is a story writer, who writes scripts, I'm telling you that George Lucas and the Star Wars movies are terribly written. George Lucas just had a really great idea. And he had really lucky timing with when he decided to put out Star Wars. Great idea, great timing. But the movies themselves, they are so terribly written, it's unbelievable. I just read you that cast from the prequels, and everybody still hates the prequels. So are you saying that you hate Liam Neeson? You hate Samuel Jackson? You hate Christopher Lee? No, it was the writing. Those actors, they did the best that they could with what was given to them. It's almost like they were given like a pile of poop, a pile of doo-doo on a paper plate, and they went and put it on fancy china. It's still poop, it's still doo-doo, but now it's on a fancy china. Star Wars is the only sci-fi/fantasy genre saga where its own community ruined it themselves. You didn't see this happen with Harry Potter, with Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I have a lot of issues with it, but it had nothing to do with the actors. Lord of the Rings, Chronicle of Narnia, you don't see their own community come at their actors, come at their movies. They just enjoy the movies. They're not these pretentious little whatevers that think that their movie is better than everybody else, that Star Wars is the golden goose of all. How sick is it to insult and physically threaten these actors and these actresses for doing their jobs? And trying so hard to make this god-awful written story halfway decent and watchable. It's like, what do you expect them to do? They are actors. They are actors. Are you expecting them to not audition? And when they audition and they get the role, are you expecting them to not accept the role so they don't tarnish the sacred reputation of Star Wars with the god-awful toxic community? Why? Hey, newsflash to everybody. It's a movie. It's not real. Matter of fact, the best thing about Star Wars had nothing to do with the movies. The best thing about Star Wars were not the movies. It was the video games, the fan fictions, the origin stories, just the worlds and the stories in general, and none of those things were part of the movies. But hey, that's just me. I don't know. Who am I at the end of the day? Well, I'm overwhelmed. And I have to go recharge my introverted batteries. I'll be back the same time next week. If you guys enjoyed this topic and this podcast, I would love for you all to subscribe, so you're always notified when the next cast comes out. You could be the very first person to sub at this particular second. Yay! That being said, this is J.Lee reminding you all, don't be that guy. Everybody hates that guy.